What's up, everyone? South Florida Bourbon Guy here, another daily bit from the barrel, and I'm going to answer the question that someone asked me recently. What's the differences between Japanese whiskey and U.S. bourbon? So I'm going to give you my breakdown of some of the differences. First and foremost, the production location. As you know, one of the rules, bourbon is produced in the United States, Japanese whiskey is produced in Japan. Obviously, bourbon has to be produced in the United States. If it's produced anywhere else and they call it bourbon, they're lying to you or they don't know what they're talking about. It's got to be produced in the U.S. Flavor profile. Japanese whiskey tends to be a little drier and smokier, that peated heaviness on it, that peppery, those types of notes, while bourbon is going to be a little sweeter. It's going to be prominent vanilla, brown sugar, caramel, oak flavors, that sort of thing. Let's talk about the grains. Primarily, as we know, in bourbon, it has to be at least 51% corn. Japanese whiskey is usually made from malted barley, very similar to Scotch whiskey, and the two taste very similar. I've had a couple of Japanese whiskeys. I'm not a big fan. There's some out there that are pretty decent. Again, I'd like to hear from you all, and again, if you can give me a recommendation on what to try for a new Japanese novice, I am all ears. I'm always going to keep an open mind when it comes to stuff like that. I just haven't had a lot of experience on it. But the aging process. Bourbon is aged in a new American charred oak barrels, contributing to its distinct flavors. Japanese whiskey, they age it in various casks, ex-bourbon barrels, sherry casks, wine casks, and they use something called this Japanese Mizunara oak, which is very spicy, citrus. It has like some incense types of smell to it, taste to it, I guess so to say. Distillation. So Japanese whiskey distillers usually use pot stills very similar to Scotch, while some of the distilleries sometimes will use continuous stills. Here in the U.S., the bourbon production, we do use pot stills, but we mostly use the column stills and the continuous stills for the production, the mass production of making large-scale amount of bourbon, right? Water. Japanese water, they're very specific on the purity of the water source, and some distilleries even use water from natural springs. Here, we like to tend to use water from various locations, but limestone because of the makeup of the water as well. Last but not least, Japanese usually blends their whiskey from one distillery, where here in the U.S., the bourbon can be made in several distilleries based on the finishing, especially if they do secondary finishing. So there you have it. Those are the differences, Japanese whiskey versus U.S. bourbon. Thanks for following South Florida Bourbon Guy.